Special one for me, this. Dean Holdsworth.
Bolton
He was
legend.
like the first big name to arrive during that era when I was like 14.
It's very much, for me, growing up watching him, thinking, I can remember him playing. Long,
Do you know what I always thought?
Handsome, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Handsome, but scruffy at the same time.
Yeah.
Shirt out.
Shirt out, socks down.
Back in the day when not everybody wore the shirt out,
No.
then, did they?
I always had him down as a target man. Tall target man, but
He got himself about, didn't he?
he wasn't tall, was he?
Yeah.
Robust, I think you call it.
Yeah, and he said he had to change the way he played
Yeah.
when he went to Bolton, which I thought was interesting.
Imagine
I
being
didn't.
in that Wimbledon team. I
And
bet
it's
there were
chaos.
some who thought, walking into training, what's happening today? Like, I hope it's just,
Bet
I
it
hope
was
it's
good,
not
though.
me.
I bet
Oh,
it
it was class.
You know that tribal mentality. We're all in it together.
Apart from Vinnie Jones, who springs to mind when you think of Crazy Gang?
John Fashanu.
John Fashanu.
Hmm.
Alan Cork.
F. Annie Cuckoo, for some reason.
Yeah.
Heavy Wimbledon stories this week. Bolton, and obviously all the stuff that we talk about that takeover at Bolton when it all went wrong, which I was very interested to hear about.
Clubs.
Wimbledon, Bolton, Watford. Watching my eyes.
No? Yeah.
Port Vale, well, these are loans. Port Vale, Swansea, Brentford, and then Coventry, Russian and Diamonds, and then
Still playing.
still playing now over 50s.
Must be class, won't it? If you like football and your body can still allow you to do it.
I can't wait to ask him about the Sunday club in pubs and stuff. I bet he loves a boozer.
I reckon he still turns a few heads, around the pool bar.
Still got it.
Yeah.
A little bit like you, Parksy.
Way, thanks, Brownsy.
2p in a
Thanks,
pod.
Gosey.
Well, shall we get him in?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dean Holdsworth.
Proper footballer when football were proper.
The amount of different questions we've had in, I want to just chuck a few in straight away. Why was Mark Lamar on your stag do?
So the word, somehow or why, decided to ring us up and go, we want to make a feature out of it. I have no idea
Have you
why.
stag do?
Yeah. So I said to him, like, Mark, you know who this is, don't you? This is not your normal bunch of people. And I sort of said, if you want to film it, we had a golf day and then we went out to Calendars, I think it was, in Watford. I said, this is not a normal bunch, but you can't come out after. You cannot do that. So he went, we're up for it. And then he was sitting, I think, next to Jonah, Vinnie. And the lads kept throwing ice cubes at him from various places.
It's childish,
And
isn't it?
it's so childish. Can't condone it. And he kept getting hit in the head. And he was getting the proper ump with it. And I said, well, that's nothing compared to what could happen. So just be careful. Don't get the ump. 'Cause as soon as you get the ump, the lads will recognise it and then they'll go full blast at you. It could be potatoes. It could be anything. So he really got the ump. But the word, the programme, I have no idea how it happened. I think it may have been through Jonah or the club. I don't know. But it was he probably got the ump that night.
I think he's got to be happy with just ice cubes there. I was
It was
thinking
so
lighter
lucky.
under the thing.
It
Setting
could have
fire
been
to his-
much worse. But he was stuck in the middle of the table, so I think he was unobtainable to get to. So it's ice cubes only, I think.
That slick back.
So
of
that's
there
how
as
it
well,
come
didn't
back. Yeah,
Good
had a big
hair, didn't he?
Had a big 5 head, didn't he?
Not wrong with them.
Not a 4
Ah.
head. I had a 5. didn't I?
he? Yeah.
Good question though, Chris. Any more?
Yeah, thanks. Great start.
Model? Top man?
Yeah,
Was it Top Man? Because
Yeah.
somebody was questioning.
yeah, top man on the Burton group. Yeah, for quite a long time actually. I ended up having my own range of clothes as well. There was a guy called Derek Lilliard, and they come to me and said, "You're." For some reason, I got the slick back stuff, and Trevor Sinclair got all the nice stuff, and they came to me and said, "Will you do your own range of clothes?" Why not? Something to do.
Did you actually design them, or did they just put your name
Derek
to it?
Lilliard, a guy from Covent Garden who I got some clothes made from when we were doing certain things. I invited him to be the designer of these suits, and we put a range out. Yeah, so that's how it worked for about 4 or 5 years. So now I don't know. I went on to balaclavas
What era are
after
we
that.
talking there?
92 to
90s, so baggy.
97.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
heavy.
I got all the suits.
Pinstripe.
Yeah.
A lot of pinstripes.
Yeah, there's a lot of pinning on the suits as well behind you. So it was how they made them photos look massive in the Top Man on Oxford Street and things like that. And yeah, it was a bit surreal, really. Real, but I used to go from training to photo shoots and all different stuff in that day and era.
And would your teammates give you stick for it? Like, was it one of
When you
them?
go for a walk, when you go for a walk, like in the town, you go to a night game, and then the afternoon or the morning you go out for a walk. And I go, don't walk down that road there. I can see the Top Man. I can see the thing.
And you're in the window.
And you're in the window, and then I try and veer off to get out of the way. And it was just a bit of banter, nothing more than that. Just load of stick as you usually get, which is what you want.
Another good question, Chris. Any more?
We'll save some. We'll save some for later on.
It's peaked.
We've had David on. Obviously, you come through the ranks with him. Was it a healthy competition between you at the time?
When you're young as a twin, you get judged who's the better player.
Yeah.
Always. You're two different positions, so there is no comparison unless you. David was always in front of me in terms of being the centre half, the dominant, and with a strikers in those days, the centre half could kick it as hard as they want, couldn't they? And the goals, they'd score at the top of the net because the goalkeeper couldn't reach the top of the bar. And then as we got older and went into like district, we was always together. It always seemed we'd done well together. And we went from the school to the district to the county. And then we got picked up by Watford at a district match for Redbridge by a guy called Ken Brooks, and knocked on the door. My mum, bless her, was driving and knocked on the window and said, "I'd like to invite you both to join Watford as a schoolboys." And she said, "They come together, And he went, "Well, I want both of them." So
Andy.
Yeah, it was Andy. Yeah. So we literally went from 14 holidays. You'd get on a train up to Stanmore and be together all that time, and then thankfully we both got offered an apprenticeship with Watford.
He did tell us a story, and I can only remember the gist. Did one of you get mistaken? Did somebody mistake you for the wrong person?
No, I know
going out or something.
I know exactly what it was. So David was out with his girlfriend on a Friday night. Now, Tom Walley, I'll paint this. Tom Walley was the hardest man you've ever known as a manager of an apprenticeship. He would ring up your house, ring you up at 9 o'clock, make sure you're in. 10 o'clock, he would make sure you're in before a game on a Saturday. And David was out, and my mum, phone rings, my mum comes panicking and goes, "Tom Walley's on the phone." I went, "Oh dear, oh dear." So, where's David? So, anyway, he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm in bed, Tom." Well, I'm making out I'm asleep. And I'm in bed. And he goes, "Where's Davey?" And I said, "He's in bed, asleep." And he went, "Go and get him." Oh, it's horrendous. Literally, he's the hardest man I know.
Scared of him.
Yeah. So put the phone down, slam the door, open the door, come back on the phone, put my hand over the phone. "Hello, Tom." And he goes, That's fucking Dino." I went, "No, it's David, Tom." And he's like, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "Where's Dino?" And I went, "He's gone back to bed. Go and get him." My life. I swear. So repeat. I went in the door, closed the door. "Hello, Tom." "Hello, Tom." And he goes, "That's Dino." And he went, "Where's Davey gone?" I went, "He's gone back to bed." And he goes, "Go and get him." I went, "Oh my God." So I literally went back, come back in, I went, hello, Tom. Like, that was sheepish. He went, "I'm telling you, this is Dino." And I went, no, he's gone back to bed, Tom. So put the phone down. I am literally panicking. Panic ain't the word. David comes home. I went, "I've just saved your life." But that weren't the end. So next day we get to the club And we had the Iveco van with the skips on. We'd done all the skips and everything else. And Tom's always sat at the front. I got in the back of the Iveco van. David James, Tim Sherwood, and they go, "What are you doing?" I'm going, "I'm hiding. I am not. I don't want him to see me." He gets on, and my brother's sitting there, and he goes, "Davey, get down the front." And he goes, "I'm telling you now." This is what he said to go. "I'm telling you, that weren't you on the phone last night." He goes, "It was Tom." He goes, "Where's Dino?" And then I'm hello Tom, down the back of the rearview mirror, and I'm like frightened out of my life. He goes, "Get down here." And he grabbed hold of me around the neck and he went, "I'm telling you, you were David last night." I went, "I wasn't." I could not let it go. Could not.
No matter how obvious it is, it can't
My life.
physically prove it, can it?
Could not. It had me being stone-faced. "No, it weren't Tom." He went, "If you don't win today, I am going to run the legs off you." So I was like, oh my God. So I proper panicked. To this day, he still didn't know. I told Graham Taylor years after my career, like later on, I was at the PFA Awards and I saw Graham and I said to him, I've got to tell you a story about this because like it was like, I told him and he went, "I can't believe you did that." I went, I cannot to this day still believe I did that on that time. And he's the only phone number I know in my head. Tom's 228013. That's the only phone number I know in my head. I couldn't tell you anyone else's phone number. It's written in there, and he is, and bless him, he's not very well, Tom. And I went to see him at the at home a little while ago, and he's not very well. So bless him. But he was.
Did you not confess to him?
No, if I did, unfortunately, he's got dementia, and he wouldn't. But he, I couldn't ever tell him. He was just such incredible motivator. At the time, all you wanted to do, he said, you never make it until you've done 100 games. You know, not one game. It's not enough. You've got to do 100 games. And obviously, you take on as much as you can from that. But I'm in a group with the Watford players, and I feel, because I left early from Watford, I'm glad to be a part of it, but there's so much respect for Tom, Steve Harrison, John Ward, Graham Taylor, who were the fundamentals of Watford at that time. And they were amazing. That was an amazing club at that time, a great era for the club. And I was just disappointed that I didn't get to stay there at the time.
Was that your decision?
No. At the time, I thought I went on loan. I had to go out on loan. But before that, I had my knee rebuilt when I was 17, just 18. I had a cruciate medial and lateral ligaments, all done at a youth cup game. And I was told I'd never play football. And they'd never done anterior cruciate really then. It was Martin Patchin was before that, and he got told to retire. And because of the extent of the injury, and my knee was in full plaster, but say 82 stitches at the time, you know, it's heartbreaking to hear that. You don't really realise that. And then 1 hour later, I think Graham Taylor came through the door, like you've got there, give me 2 bits of paper, give me a 2-year contract. And he said, "I think you'll make it. I think you've got everything about you to make it." Like you go from being lower than a snake's belly to up there thinking, right, I've got...
Someone's got belief in you.
Yeah, because he'd seen me play and train and everything else. And what an opportunity he gave me. I was so lucky to be at Watford, because there probably would be a load of players who weren't at that level or whatever with insurance or clubs who would probably get told. I had to go to Lillishall quite a lot as well with my knee and rehab, and that was painful for the year. So 2 operations, 7 weeks at a time with full-length plaster at the time, and then I moved digs so I could get on crutches round to the ground. So because I couldn't do the bus every day, and that was a painful time, real painful time.
How old were you at that?
18. Yeah,
So that was the norm was it late 80s?
It was 89. That 88, 89.
Cruciate.
No one knew. So I was unlucky but fortunate to be able to get that opportunity, and that was an experience trying to come back on your own with a physio every day.
And did you just think, fuck it, I'm just going to bust my balls?
I didn't know any way over different, because I just thought, I've got to do this. Did a lot of upper body stuff and a lot of weights on my legs. When your leg comes out of a plaster for 8 weeks, it's like a chicken's leg. So you've got to rebuild. There's no airs, everything's dead in your leg. So you've got to rebuild. I had to go back in 6 months later and have it done again, because the cruciate hadn't repaired.
I can imagine though, as hard as it were at the time, it must have stood you in really good stead for the next 15, 20 years. Mentally.
You know, absolutely. You just think, well, you become very lonely.
Yeah.
You know, you become very lonely. You've got all your teammates, your brother. My brother was flying. He was doing really well. And I'm so pleased for him to do that. And when you're thinking you're not part of it, all they see is a bloke walking around on crutches every day. And you think, you know, funny story, I was doing some sit-ups one day with an old boy called Pat Malloy at the club, who just, you know, the usual, there's always the guys who are at the club, the stalwarts, aren't they? And Pat would throw me this medicine ball. And one day, the chairman, Elton John, came in. He came in a pinstripe suit, pink wig.
It went from top, man, wasn't it?
No, it went from top. It definitely went top, man. And he had a pink ponytail, trilby hat on, his glasses, and he come through the door, and I was on the floor like, oh, hello, chairman. And he goes, what are you up to? And I said, well, I'm just doing this bloody medicine ball circuit with, I'll have a go at that. So I went, will you? Straight up, he got on the floor. I was throwing him this medicine ball, and he was rocking around on this pinstripe suit, and he with his trilby on, and he's done about 3, and I'm throwing the ball a little bit harder every time just to see who he's got. And that was a surreal moment of that era, like me being in plaster doing the rehab with Elton John coming in doing sit-ups with you. It's quite funny.
Did you see him about a lot? Like, did he have?
He was at the time. He was very
involved,
very involved with the club, with Graham, and he'd give you all the tickets for clubs, you know, not for clubs, for his concerts and stuff like that. And he had a party at his house every year at Windsor. It was amazing. Yeah, something else. But as a young pro, you kept right out of the way. You just couldn't be. Tom would look at you and go, get out of it, you know. Yeah. You're not a pro yet. You ain't earned it. So
that's a different level of knowing when you've made it. When you're
you're
allowed at the bar at Elton's party.
Yeah.
And did he have any clue about football, or if not knowledgeable on football?
No, I think his love of his passion was Watford. Watford Football Club. He'd done so much for the club.
Did you turn the injury into a positive? Like, you know, when you said you did your rehab, your sit-ups, and did you come back physically stronger?
Scored a hat-trick on my debut back. I trained so hard. Trained, literally never had a day off. And scored a hat-trick on my sort of debut back. And then after that, it was a struggle for me to get through to the change of manager. Harry Bassett came in after Graham left. Harry loved me, and then he left, and Steve Harrison came back. And Steve Harrison was the reserve team manager at Watford at the time. And you couldn't get a more chalk and cheese person from a coach to a manager in that time, in my period of knowing him. And everyone knew Harry as a great coach, great bloke around the place, loads of jokes. He'd come back and wanted to be the manager. And whether I was from London or whether I spoke too much to say, I want to play for you, he didn't like it. I went on loan to Carlisle, Swansea, Port Vale, Brentford. I spent one night in Torquay. I went back.
Sounds like a film, doesn't it?
Yeah.
One night in Torquay.
Yeah, one night in Torquay. It was. I got injured and they never had any physio, so I got in the thing and went back to I said, I'm not staying there. That was under Shearer now. And I was flying, if you like, in a for myself, doing well with these loans. And I went back I really enjoyed working under Terry Earth, John Rudge, Clive Middlemass. They wanted to buy me at Carlisle. But I went back and I scored against Oldham up away, coming on off the bench. And I went to see him and I said, I think I should be playing. I think I'm good enough to start. And I think that was the end of me at that time. He then said to me that Carlisle offered 45 grand for you and I want you to go and speak to him. Now, Clive Middlemass was a real nice bloke, a real lovely gentleman. Ian Bishop was at Carlisle and I loved Bish. He looked after me when I was up there. And I went up on the train 5.5 hours, sitting outside the toilet door with the McEwan's brigade going back to Glasgow. And I got off the train, I was knackered. Clive said to me, "You all right?" And I went, "I've just been on the worst journey in my life and I can't sign. I cannot sign for you. I've come up there just for a couple of days off, to be honest with you." I said, I just fancy the trip. And
At least you're honest.
And I was like, I'm not going to sign. I was in the team photo. He went, be in the photo. And I went, I'm not signing. He went, be in the photo. And I went, honestly, you won't change my mind. I'm from London and I'm not doing this journey coming backwards and forwards each week. So I was in the team photo. Then I got back and I rang Steve Harrison and I said, look, I can't join Carlisle. He basically slaughtered me for about 10 minutes on the phone. And I was 18, 19. And I said, well, look, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be in training tomorrow. I can't do that. I just can't do it. So that went down like really well, as you can imagine. And then I went to Brentford on loan, did well there. And I got on well with Stevie Perryman, Phil Older. And I ended up joining Brentford and loved every minute of it. And whether Steve knew it, all I ever wanted to do was play for him. And he knows it now. I'll tell you about it in a while, but the conversation was a good one. But I lived with that, of not being able to play for the club who I wanted to play for a long time. But that drove me to be the best goal scorer I could be. Yeah. I went to Brentford and had a good season that time, you know. And loved Stevie Perryman, loved Phil Older. They were great guys.
I wonder if Carlisle had another team photo day.
They did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
You're in it for the whole season, every program
No
the whole
Photoshop
season.
Then.
Yeah.
I imagine, remember the Ashley Cole one when he was at Roma and he was just stood like 3 yards away from everybody else?
Yeah. Now you become in the middle of the programme, didn't you? Stapler in your head. Yeah.
You've done incredible there, though, really, to dig your heels in and say, I'm not, because as a young lad, you could quite easily crumble to the pressure and think, I'm signing for Carlisle.
Yeah, no, it went right. I couldn't do it. I'd met Terry Uriff with Swansea, John Rudge, Port Vale, and I loved them as times. And I thought, and then Brentford, obviously, and I thought, they're all coming in for me, but he ain't letting me go because I'm scored for the first team.
The options were there.
Yeah, and there was no tapping up. It was just that there was no phone, so you couldn't get tapped up. So, it was like, I think I'll be all right. But Harry gave me a 3-year contract, Harry Bassett. So I'd had that. I got that as a security. If my contract had been up, it might have been different.
I'm surprised the Carlisle manager still wanted to sign you after you give it I'm only here for a couple of days off, and I'm not.
He was
not
good as
signing
gold,
for you.
Clive. I just had a bit of banter with him. He was really great bloke, and I've spoken to him over the years, and he was a good guy. He was all right. He understood.
It sounded like you were in denial anyway. And I'm not signing. Come on. Team photo.
Get the team photo. I think he thought I might buckle, but I didn't, thankfully.
How good was John Barnes?
Sorry?
How good was John Barnes?
The best, in my opinion. I've been so lucky to do a couple of events with him in the UAE. And he was my hero, my life, every day. He had the best KFC ever. And when we were in apprentices, when you're apprentices, you can't afford anything. You got no money. You're eating anything. And he'd come in the players' lounge with a bargain bucket. And if he ate that bucket, he didn't eat it, or he goes, young lads, you want some of this? And we're just starving as an apprentice.
Just nibbling on John Barnes' bones.
You knew he literally wanted to eat what Barnes had left, because he was like, he'd come in with a bucket and we'd be like, any left over? Like that, because you're starving. And but Barnesy, oh my God, what a player. He couldn't get the ball off of him. And it was really strange. When he left, I went to Brentford, done my 2.5 years, and get a move to Wimbledon. And then you realise you're in the Premier League, standing in Anfield in the tunnel, and Barnesy comes up and puts his arm around me and said, like, lovely to see you. And you're walking down and you go, oh my God, I'm at Anfield and John Barnes has just done that.
And he's my hero.
And he's my hero. And honestly, I swear to you, he was amazing. What a player. What a player.
Did you know, when you were doing well at Brentford, did you know that your next move was going to be the Premier League?
God's honest truth, I took that gamble. I had the whole summer of training. I'd had a bit of an injury in the middle season, second season. So I had a contract running out. And I just thought, I've got to see how far I can get. And I trained like just like a trooper the whole summer. I had a bet on myself, the first game of the season, to score a hat-trick. And I scored a hat-trick against Orient. And we played Barnet on the second game of the season. I had another bet on myself to score another hat-trick.
Did you physically put the bet on yourself?
Yeah, at the time. Allegedly.
What price were you?
I was 25 to 1 for a hat-trick in the first game. And then around the same sort of thing for the next one. Away. That was away at Barnet.
See, I'm thinking, after the second hat-trick, I'm thinking, why not just do a double? Why double them up? You know what I mean? That's...
Worth a couple of quid, innit?
I can't condone betting. You know what I mean? So, but I just was meticulous and just trained. You know, didn't drink really. We'd have a beer now and again with Parksy and that would go out for a few beers. We did have a laugh. But I never got offered a contract by Brentford. I spent a summer, which we can go on to, is just speaking with agents and clubs. I never knew what was happening.
Did you know at the time that you were in a great position, though, that something was going to...
Well, you think you scored 38 goals,
38 goals,
someone's going to want you, aren't they? But I never had one contract offered to me by Brentford.
It's mental, isn't it?
Incredible, isn't it? And Phil Older, who I loved, absolutely, and I love him today. You know, he never had anything to say, right, come and sign this, or the fans at the time going, stay. I never even had a contract. It's a bit mad, isn't it?
Ridiculous, really.
Yeah, because I'm sure, I know it went to a tribunal, so they were going to get someone, but if you offered you
more.
if you offered you a 2-year...
Maybe if he offered it me, he thought I might take it and then stay, and he didn't want to pay it. So, I don't know.
Bastard, he's agreed to this contract with
Only bloody staying. So like, it's a little bit of an odd situation to be in, but as I say, there was 2 or 3 agents around. Eric was always linked with Wimbledon, and
was he your agent?
yeah, he did the deal.
The cigar man, innit?
Yeah, monster.
Yeah.
You thought he was a bodybuilder last week.
Yeah, I spoke with Terry at Tottenham. They were going to sign Teddy. Doug Livermore and Ray Clements sort of said he's their number one, and I wanted to be a number one. I didn't want to be a squad player at Tottenham, and then Sam Hammam. Once you met Sam Hammam and I met him, we just become like family. Honestly, the man's crazy but brilliant.
It didn't get off to the best of starts, did it? Did you go for the talks?
Oh Christ, yeah. So I met him at his house in Regent's Park. So walk in and he starts, as he does, and he knows he does, he starts waffling on about family and the Bible and fish and wine and all this stuff.
2 little fishes, 5 loaves of bread.
That's it. Well, he kept going on about this, and I'm going, what's this bloke? So, and all I could think of was he looked like Penfold. So that was his nickname after. So he said to me, right, there's the offer. And I said, I'm not signing it. I'm going to go home and think about it. And I've got to speak to a couple of other clubs. And he's like, sign the contract. And I said, no, I'm not signing the contract. I'll need to speak about this, think about it. I've never been in the contract negotiation. I've no one say it's the first deal, did I? So I went, I'm going to go. He went, wait there. He got up, walked to his lounge door, walked through it, locked the door. And I had a mobile then, and he rang me and he said, are you signing it? And he goes, Kisakal Shalamutta, which is son of a bitch in Lebanese, right? I'll never forget fair words. And he goes, are you signing it? And he looked out the window and he's in his car and he drove off.
Did you know what that meant at the time?
No.
So have you got to look it up after?
Well, I couldn't spell it, let alone say it. And as years of listening to that. But he drove off and I'm in his lounge. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I ring Eric, there's no answer. And I thought, I've been kidnapped.
So I'm thinking,
I've been kidnapped. So
danger wank. I'll show you, Sam.
There was lots of things going on, and about 45 minutes later, I can hear a rustle on the door, and keys go around, and a lady walks in. So I said, "Hi." She said, "Hi. What are you doing?" I said, I have been kidnapped. Is he your husband? Her name was Nada. She's a lovely lady. And she went, yeah, Sam. I went, I've got to get out of the house. I must get out of the house. And I said, no, I don't think I'm going to come back. So literally went down the stairs, got through the door, and I remember walking around to Camden and Camden Town, and I'm like, what's just happened to me? Eric rang me, went, what's happening? And I told him, and he said, he wants to meet you tomorrow. I have
Public
literally
area.
I'm not having it. I'll meet him at the Royal Lancaster Hotel, and where I'd had talks before, and I met him there, and he come up to me, and he's like angry, then he was happy, and like, we're going to do this. This is how much we love you. We're going to give you this bonuses, and I want to bet with you. And so we got there in the end, and I liked him. I liked this. It was, when we grew up, my dad wasn't around, and so having someone like him was quite an appealing thing. It was something new to me, and I actually liked him for his stupidness, and thought, John Fashanu, Vinnie Jones, a crazy gang. Am I going to fit in here? This is me, is it? But I got on well with him, and then we had a couple of crazy bets for the season, and he said to me, "You're a cocky son of a bitch," and I said,
Likes that one, doesn't he?
He loves it. He does, and he says, "If you score 8 goals in the Premier League, I will buy you a Ferrari." So I said, will you? So he said, he went from 8 to 15. And so in his negotiations. And then he said that you have to give me this and this. So I said, all right, I'll have it with you. And then joined, obviously, the crazy gang. And I was lucky I never got initiated on once, because I just joined 3 days before Vinny came back. So after that, the initiations became more and more involved.
Right.
So I was lucky I missed it. Terry Phelan left, so there was a new brand of crazy gang coming through. So it really started again, so I could be part of that. So it's
Just
good.
missed out.
So is he like a eccentric but brainy behind it?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
clever.
Some people are just fucking lunatics, aren't they?
No,
But
he's so smart. So smart. I had 4, I think I signed 4 contracts in 3 years with him. And he literally became this person. It cost me 2 things. He came, we played Man United away, beat them 1-0, and I knew I'd played well. And he come on the coach with a stick, this Irish thing he used to carry around, like a lucky thing, and he started hitting me. He said, "You bastard." He said, "Why did you play so well? Mr. Ferguson loves you, they want you," and all this. I said, "Of course they don't." He said, "They do." He started hitting me, and then we literally ended up on the floor in the middle of the coach, fighting about whether I was going to go to Man United. And I said, "I don't know nothing about it," So he was just like that. He would bet you £50 that he would be on the halfway line, you'd be on that end of the pitch, that he could run to the end of the pitch before you in a suit and shoes and things like that. And the bets we would do, when I scored the 15th goal against Newcastle, I think it was, a Ferrari turned up on a Monday for me.
Must be true to his word.
Yeah, he turned up. But I had a couple of nice cars at the time, and I had to pay 54 grand in revenue tax on it. And I said, I don't need it as a benefit in kind. So he gave me a new contract. So he just said, we'll put it in your pension. So I was like, happy days. But he's kept his word to all of it.
Yeah.
We had the second season. He said, if you score 15 more goals, I will kiss your ass. And if you don't,
I've got the credit tax.
It's quite a drop, isn't it?
He said, I'll kiss your ass.
Ferrari to that.
There was a bit more in it. A little bit more in it.
Started
He's around
with
the
a
front.
kiss.
Yeah. And
Started with a kiss.
and I said to him, well, and he said, I will buy a camel and call it Dino and put it in London Zoo. So he did. I scored the 15 the next year. And I said, he made a bust of me. I've still got this bronze bust. So we've scored, we beat, I think we beat Newcastle that day as well. And then Fash grabbed him and I pulled down the shorts and he kissed my arse in front of the lads. So that was, I wish we got a photo of it. It was he just loved the spirit of all that stuff,
What, are you a wealthy man?
Yeah.
Like a really wealthy man?
Yeah. He stopped me going to West Ham. It was my only grudge I ever really, still to this day, was, and he knows it, I've said it to him. He stopped me joining West Ham and I blamed Joe, and I got a call from Harry saying, I'm meeting Joe tonight and that was like my dream. I grew up at West Ham with my nan and granddad and my mum, and literally it would have been my dream to join West Ham, and it never happened. And I was fuming about it. I was really annoyed about that. It didn't happen. For whatever reason, I still don't hold that as a grudge to him, but he said, if I let you go, we will go down. And then he said, and this is Sam all over, he says, give me a month. You're our Ryan Giggs. He'd tell you all the stories, you're our Ryan Giggs, you're our whatever. And I met him at the Landmark Hotel in London. My favourite like places I'd never ever dreamed of being in. Met him and David Barnard. We got a new contract because he said, well, I'm going to give you what Man United paid it, which was him being a load of waffle. And then we'll come out of the hotel, and I said to him, be careful because they're coming around that corner quick. He had a sheepskin on and he got hit by a motorbike. My life. And the motorbike went into his green Volvo, and I said, I told you, they've locked the corner. He's on the floor, like I've been hit. I went, you haven't, you're all right. And he's like, the guy got up off the motorbike, goes, hello, do you know, can I have an autograph? And I went, do us a favour, send whatever you get it costs, because it's his fault, because he's not quick enough to get across the road. And I took him to the hospital. He was all right. It was just, but he literally, I said to him, I could save your life. And he's like, it was just so many things went on with him. Just amazing. When we got called up for England, and he made the announcement, and it was pouring down with rain. I come out, and all my tyres were let down on my car by him. 4 tyres down. Just so he didn't want you to get too big in your head. So it was me at Roehampton pumping them up. Told the groundsman to go missing. So I literally had to wait for ages to get a pump. So another time, a bit later on, he came into the lounge, and one of the players, player A, I said, do us a favour, follow me in his car. So I nicked his car, drove it to Barnes, across Richmond Park, parked it up, come back, put his keys back on the side. And he didn't know he was upstairs in a meeting. And we get a phone call on the way back, and his SIM come up on the phone. I've red buttoned him. And he's leaving me voicemails in Arabic and Lebanese. And then the lads were in the car. There was Ildy, John Goodman, Chirpy, Alan Kimball. And I answered him. I said, what do you want? And he's swearing his head off at me. Where's my car? I said, I don't know what you're on about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I am going to kill you. I will do this. And I can't even say what he said he was going to do to me. And he, I know. And he literally called me 100 times. And I thought, you let my tyres down the other day. I'm going to get you back. So that night he was ringing me. I didn't answer the phone. Left it next day. And I started playing hot and cold with him. In the park. I said, get in a car with someone and then drive round that corner. You'll see a load of antlers on loads of deers, and that'll be where they are. And he went, they could effing move. And I went, they might not be there from yesterday. I don't know where they are. So literally, he's driving around Richmond Park playing hot and cold. And I knew where he was getting to Barnes Gate. And I said, well, go through that gate. It might be around there. And then his car was there. So, but it was brilliant because he was just literally driving around Richmond Park listening to me, and I had no idea where he was.
Is Richmond Park a big place?
Massive.
Is it?
Yeah.
And it's not just like a little park?
No, it's not a kid's park.
Right.
No, it's full of
Did he
deer.
have this relationship with all the players, or was it?
No, I mean, he had special relationship with Fash, very different from Fash, Vinnie, everyone, the characters at Wimbledon were quite different. The Dutchman, Scalzi, Warren, Robbie, all different. And I was just this bloke who wanted to have fun and cost him money every week scoring goals, really. And
I mean, the only
yeah.
time we used to speak to chairman, they'd come in the changing room now and again. It was, hello, Mr. Chairman, you'd shake the hand.
Oh, no, he was in... He just made me laugh so many things. He was so clever. You talk about clever. We had the bonuses. When you've got to get the bonuses in before the last Thursday before the start of the season.
Yeah, get them signed off.
So he wouldn't sign ours. We wanted a certain amount of money to stay in the Premier League. It's only to stay in the Premier League, which was saving his career, by the way, his livelihood. And he came in. I'm not giving you that. And I said, well, we're going to go out to train. If you don't sign it, we'll take what's there, what comes up. And he said, you're trying to kill me. And I said, I'm nothing to do with it. I said, I'm looking after the lads. You're just calling me all these names. And we walked out. Barney comes out. He said, Reg, you'll have to come back in. Like, that's my nickname there. So he said, you'll have to come back in. I went, why? I came back in and he's bending over the table, going to me, give it to me. Do it, because that's what you're doing to me. And I went, I'm not. He went, you're doing to whatever.
You can say what you want on here, by the way.
And he went, you're trying to smack my ass. And I said, we're not. We're just trying to do what's fair for the lads. Trying to be a team. And you should think about it. And he's like crying. And I said, stop bending over. Stop bending over. It's not a good look. And that was what he would do. And then he signed it and we all got on. He was just immense. He would do all sorts of things just to wind you up.
Quick break in play, gentlemen.
That's usually my job, but carry on.
Have you heard about TalkSport Bet?
No.
I know Talk Sport.
Well, they are our new partners. But as you said, we've all heard of TalkSport. Mm-hmm. Well, TalkSport Bet are sponsoring the whole of this series.
Unbelievable. It's exciting. And, like you said, you've just made me aware of it, John, but they're sponsoring the whole series. And, it's another and, as Undr The Cosh listeners and viewers, they're providing an unbelievable offer. I'm talking bet £10, get £40 in free football bets.
Not just that. They do super boosts, daily price boosts, and best odds guaranteed on your horses, which is a very, very good special.
And all you've got to do is head to talksportbet.com/UTC and you get that unbelievable offer on sign up.
18 plus, terms and conditions apply.
I'm excited. I think we're going to do some magical things.
Give us a fist bump then. We had Terry Gibson on, and I think Dave Bassett spoke about him. But he said, Dave Bassett said, Fashanu was in the crazy gang, but he wasn't. He kind of kept his distance. And I know Terry told us a couple of stories about him, that he was a different character. Did you find that?
I got on really well with Fash, and I just knew that you got to know the person, you got to know what you're dealing with. I know that if he was on his day, he was immense. He was unplayable. I tell you, we played Coventry away, and he was doing gladiators, and he had a header, and it was going in. It was sort of going in. It was one of them, but I headed it in. Got my bonus. And
I will go with that one, wasn't it?
It was Fash's header, but I've got to make sure, you know. So anyway, we walked off. We were 2-0 up. Walked in, and as I'm coming off, he goes, Reg, he said, my back's not feeling too clever. So I said, yeah, you'll be all right, Fash. Come on. And goes on the treatment table. Walk out, second half. He ain't out. So didn't think nothing of it. We win 2-0. Next day, I'm going to Gladiators with Bradley, my boy, and get into Gladiators at 6 o'clock, right? So 6 o'clock is significant because Fash was there at 6 o'clock the day before. So he come off at half time, got in a car, and went and did Gladiators. Yeah. So I was thinking, I was like, was he yesterday? And he goes, yeah. And I went, he was here at 6 o'clock yesterday. Of course he was, because he left at half time. And then the spotlight came on me. He goes, there he is. He stole my goal. Like yesterday, Bradley's like that with her hand. And I'm like, what's he going on? He's like, I was trying to get the middle one. I was like, go on, you have that, Fash. You know what I mean? He went, he stole my goal yesterday. And I was like, get off me. I don't want to be noticed. But at 6 o'clock, he'd gone. So Fash had his own ways of like manipulating, doing stuff the way he did it. And yes, he was in it. He was a leader of it. He was the figurehead of it. And sometimes him and Vinnie were, you know, significant players and the people for Wimbledon's crazy gang, the image. But I tell you what, on their day and the effort levels of wanting to win was amazing.
So the intimidation thing. So the bell's gone, you know, for say 10 to 3. Mm. Would it start then? You know, I'm just picturing he was in the tunnel. What kind of stuff would go on?
I remember was captain at Wimbledon for a year, and Vinnie come past Eric Cantona and called him a few names, and he was standing there. He didn't even acknowledge me, and I was like, Jonah, you can't intimidate this bloke. And he come out. I think it might have been a cup match, and he goes out and he chests the ball down and volleys it in from 25 yards. Cantona. I went, well done, Jonah. Well done, Jonah. You really wound him up. Really, like, brilliant. It was great,
Shows your victims.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, 10 to 3 in the tunnel, because it's a small tunnel at Palace, isn't it, as you walk out?
Yeah.
And there's always loads of... Sam would be standing there with a broom. Hitting.
He's always got a weapon, hasn't he?
He's sitting there, standing with a broom, smashing these metal... what they call storage cupboards. He'd be smacking them as they're walking past. This little Lebanese bloke with a pinstripe suit on, penfold, bashing the thing, you know. It was just where it was. It was always the verbals. I mean, some players you couldn't intimidate, like Ian Wright, amazing. He had everything in terms of loving the duel, loving the fight. Martin Keown, you know, the stuff I had with Martin, I literally, during my career, he was one person I hated. And but I wanted him in my team. But what a centre-half he was. What an unbelievable, nasty, horrible, everything you can think of as a centre-half.
We're talking some top players. When people get asked that question about who did you hate playing against, he's always in there.
God. Yeah. I just wanted him to kick me as early as he could so I could get him booked. Yeah. And then I've got a chance of doing him later on.
Yeah.
But he was the one you thought, oh my God, you'd have anxiety a couple of days before because you thought, I just know that it was going to happen. You know, it starts in the tunnel, a little bit of banter, and he would just turn around and go, I'm going to kick shit out of you today. And that is it. And you just thought, right, I am going to do all I can to wind you up, you know. But what a team they were. I mean, you're talking about moments, when you're talking about straight balls coming up to you, you'd put your head in the back of their nose and things like that, but he would come down the back of your shins, your calves, and
long studs, I imagine.
A lot. And you just wanted one chance to try and get your own retribution. You know?
So you mentioned Cantona then, and I remember a Vinnie Jones tackle on him.
Oh, well, I'm 10 yards away from that
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that game. I think it was that game I'm talking about where he chests it down. I was 10 yards away. I think it was unbelievable, wasn't it? Yeah. It was just phenomenal. If
it happens on fucking Oxford Street, you're getting 18 months, aren't you?
I think without a doubt,
you're going down for it.
Yeah. I think if it happens today, it's a 6-month ban from football.
Yeah.
Any form of football.
It was nowhere near his knees even. It was just, yeah.
You know, Chris.
Yeah. It was unbelievable challenge.
It must have been in practice for when he got the Palace fan, because he got him neck high.
Yeah.
Must have seen it from there.
Do you think being at Wimbledon hampered your chances of playing for England in that period? I mean, you 19 goals, 24 goals year after.
Yeah, possibly. And it probably was while I stabilised myself as a Premier League goal scorer, and then second season think, right, where, you know, he's always talk about you in the newspapers. The newspapers headlines, here's going here, this is happening. Unfortunately, you're not dealing with a rational chairman who looks at it and goes, we will take the money and until it's right for them.
Yeah.
So he was never going to back down. He said, we will get relegated if I let you go. So he just paid me more. It's a double-edged sword because you want to go, you want to bet yourself. Of course I did. I wanted to join, you know, West Ham's the biggest club in the world. And I wanted to join them, you know, but it didn't happen. So, you know, one of them things, so I've just 5 years, I'd done my time and had a little bit of a fallout with Joe a few times over the West Ham thing. And you just think, scoring all them goals in the Premier League, I was in amongst the list of serious goal scorers.
Yeah.
Let's get it right. You know, Wrighty, Owen, Fowler, Sheringham, Ferdinand, Chris Sutton. There's a serious bunch of...
Looking at for Shearer, you were only just behind Teddy Sheringham and Les Ferdinand.
Yeah, no, I know. I loved it. I loved it. And that was my drive as well. I wanted to be in the top. I wanted to be top. Please believe me. You know, I got a golden boot or a bronze boot, whatever you want to call it, for the 38 goals the year before. Yeah. And I wanted to try and get to that. And I always had a bit of banter with Wrighty, because Wrighty, for me, I loved him. I loved his personality. I loved him as a bloke and as a player. And I thought, Wrighty's going to go, and Alan Shearer, let's get it right. Alan, he's trying to compete with the top. But to be in that, I'm proud. After being, I always resonate to my knee, you know. when days of 55 steps carrying a physio up and down the back of Watford Stadium every day, you know. That's what I remember from being the humility of it all, you know, how it can bring you that way.
Was there some bet involving some kind of testicles?
So we had a bonus system. I took this into Bolton after. I took this as a bonus, as a forfeit. If you lost by 4 clear goals, you had to go to a Lebanese restaurant and eat testicles, flambéed.
Lamb?
So they never had the other part of the animal on them.
As long as it weren't the waiters.
yeah. Which ones are these? Excuse me. We would have to go to a Lebanese restaurant and eat testicles. There was a Russian play which was 4.5 hours long. That was in it as well. You had to go to watch a 4.5 hour Russian ballet. So
taking the ball.
Just passes the nuts.
There's a beer. But I took that experience, and when we got up to the Premier League through the playoffs with Bolton, I said to Sam, let me devise the bonus system that we can make it a positive out of a negative. So there's a bit of publicity out of it. We can take the chairman, the chief exec, Sam. Funny enough, they all got pulled out their names to eat the testicles.
Is that what it was? Not everybody has to eat them.
No, just picked out of a hat, 5 people. But they're strangely, they got picked out. I have no idea how they got out.
So is this 4 goals on a Saturday or in training?
No, in a game.
In a proper game?
In a proper game. We had, I think it was Hilda sent off at Newcastle and Jonah went in goal. We got beat, something silly. So then we had to go and do the forfeits.
Who was the dark horse in that Wimbledon team? You know, like, who people didn't really know as the crazy one, but were like under the radar fucking nuts.
Oh, nuts?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, they were all nuts.
See, I never had Teddy Phelan down.
No, Terry left. Terry left when I was there.
Yeah. But I mean,
he left a week later. I trained with Terry for a week and then he left. He went on. I mean, like people like Scott Fitzgerald, who probably wasn't so prominent in the team with Scalzi and the centre half. Me and Scalzi got on. Scalzi was a little bit of a dark horse because we roomed together, and then we would on a Friday night when we were away, we'd go to the reception at 7 o'clock. The coach driver would come down, Alan, and he'd go into dinner, and we'd say, "Can we have a key to his room?" And then we'd go and take his bed out of the room, and put the bed in the lift. And he'd come back, and then his clothes would be tied to the flags outside the hotel, things like that. So Scalzi was involved in it, but he was always too good looking to, to be part of the mad. The funny thing was when we played Everton in that game, the infamous game, the night before, the coach got burnt out, and there was
it was Scalzi.
No, so Alan gets a call at 3 o'clock in the morning. The driver saying your coach is on fire, come down, and he said, "Tell Holdsworth and Scales to F off." Put the phone down, took the phone off the hook. Gets up in the morning, the coach had been burnt out. He just thought we were mucking about, and so there was so many pranks, so many.
On a Christmas do or a team night out, would it be a case of just fasten yourself in?
Yeah.
Someone's going to go off.
Yeah, it was. It was always. I mean, we still meet now every 6 months, and it's just like
thinking
it's
he used
fun.
to come like there's like Zimmer frames like cups.
Yeah, it's like
A bit of that.
it's a lot
Cubes and
tamer.
that.
It's a lot tamer. I mean,
People throwing teeth.
it's a lot tamer now, but there's such a great bunch of fellas who want to carry it on. It's just meeting up still now is brilliant. We lost Stevie Tallboys. I don't know if you remember Stevie. Stixie was our conduit, he was our glue to the group. And unfortunately he passed away. He had a heart attack and passed away. And that was a proper sad day losing him. He was he wasn't always in the first team, but he was a bloke who brought everybody together, and we lost him, and that was so unfortunate. But we've carried on. We still carry on. I love going down to see the boys. They're great. I mean, Fatch, he's mad as a hatter.
Fashanu.
Ben Thatcher. Sorry, Ben Thatcher. All of the lads are brilliant. They all travel for different reasons and different places and stuff like that, but it's a good bunch when you're there. So, but the Christmas do's are good.
This is an interesting fact for everybody. Dean doesn't like pubs. True.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not a pub person.
That was just carry on, Chris.
I don't like people.
Would, wives, girlfriends, would they be in the Players' Lounge Saturdays talking about what you'd done through the week? I mean, did you hear about what happened on Tuesday at training?
No.
This happened, that happened.
Never. No one told anyone anything.
Just all kept in house.
Always. Well, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like, wives at home think, oh, they're just sensible lads. They're just good lads.
Kenny Cunningham had a blazer, like Irish green blazer. We'd all, at the time, everyone was wearing like different suits and Versace and all coloured. Kenny came in a terrible blazer, so we put a note in it: "Do not wear this again, or consequences." And he wore it to a game, and someone cut it up the back, in the middle of the back of the blazer. So when he put it on, it was like a cape. And his missus came in, proper angry with everybody. That's my Kenny blazer, and who done it? And having a go at Jonah. Jonah goes, "Ain't me." And I went, "Well, ain't me." Everyone's going, "It ain't me." And like, it was just, no one was going to grasp it, but just, we should have read the note.
He was warned.
Should have read the note.
I've got no sympathy.
Absolutely.
At what point in the Players' Lounge is she going and you're going, no, do not go in that dressing room.
Sit back down. Sit there, you stupid cow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know, but she weren't happy because she'd come from Millwall, so maybe, I don't know where she's from.
You mentioned that I didn't realise why the Everton game was infamous, but I've just seen 18-man brawl. Is that the one? Is that the game?
It might well have been. It was probably 18-man brawl in most games.
But is that why you said it was infamous?
No, the infamous game is when they had to win to stay up. It was the last game of the season.
Ah,
So
right.
it was everything on that. And that was like going to a game and we had to think the coach burnt out, so we had another coach, and we had about 10 police bikes around us on the way through to Everton. There was all things being thrown. It's like you were like condemned men going to a game. And this is a Goodison truth. We said, when you get off the coach, there's a alley they make for you, the stewards. And so no one stopped to sign anything. Gary Blissett got off the coach. Fash was behind him, and a fella slashed Fash's blazer with a knife as he was walking through.
What's his name? Mrs.
It was green. It was an honourable green.
He slashed his thing, and Bliss, stop, don't stop, So that was the start of that. And there was a fellow on the other side of the pitch. In the second half, I scored in that game. I scored a penalty. And there was a fellow on the other side of the tunnel, the other side, saying to me, "I am going to stab you." Right? He had a knife in his hand. Right? Whether you can see him, it was close. "I am going to stab you. I'm going to kill you if we lose this game." And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and play right wing. I'm playing the other side of the pitch. So Joe's going to be, "Get over that side." I'm, nope, no chance. There's a fellow over there who's going to, like, literally. And I met someone a few years later on when I moved up to Bolton. I lived in Formby. And the guy said, "That fellow, I know him, who done that, who was saying that to you." And I was, "Oh, I don't really want to meet him, thanks." We lost. He got what you stayed up. So good luck to that. But yeah, it was an unbelievable
So Fash
game.
got his
he
slashed?
had a black Versace blazer on. I'll never forget it. And he had it slashed at the back, across the back. So that was pretty. And I was going home. My brother-in-law Dennis was up for the game. He would come up. So I went in the bar after. And I'm going home with him. I'm not getting on a coach. So I walked through the whole crowd of Goodison with a Goodison Everton scarf and hat on, so I could get to the car. Because I was frightened out of life. Because I was like, it was nuts. The whole 48 hours was mad.
Yeah, the
Incredible.
lengths they've gone to. Because they've obviously burnt the coach out.
I literally had an Everton scarf and hat on with them. And they're like...
I don't think it's getting enough attention that he got his slashed on the way into the ground.
Because you can't be sure that you're just going to get fabric.
No.
You think?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But no one mentioned it. We just got on with it. Wimbledon, we just get on with things when they go like that.
We were the best one.
Like a tunnel, when it all...
You like all this tunnel stuff, don't you? Because we never really had it, did we?
QPR, I can remember QPR away. I'd got booked for elbowing Alan McDonald, but he was 6'4". I couldn't ever elbow him. Anyway, I got booked. Graham Pole was a referee who I'd known from the Watford youth as he came up. And next thing, I go through and score. And my usual side was go up to the fans and give them a bit of grief because they're throwing coins at you and everyone else. And telling them they're going to do things to me. And so I want to give them a bit of grief. Next thing, Danny Maddox came through me and I jumped up and we went bang on, like head to head. And Poley comes over and goes, Reg, because he knew me for years, and he went, I've got to send you off. And I went, Rolly. I called him Roly Poley. And he went, I went, what are you doing? And he goes, I've got to send you off. I went, what for? He goes, I've got an administrator in the stand. Head to head is now a booking. I went, I've got to send you off. So I was like, I'm off, sent off. We won 3-0, but they were proper kicked off in the tunnel. And I'm sort of like watching it. But Mick Harford, listen, it was proper kicked off.
Well listening.
Mick was immense. What a man he is. I love him. But you wouldn't want to pick on him, would you? So there was loads of scraps all the time. Arsenal, Vinnie, Wright, he would love a fight with us. He loved it. There's a photo of him hooking Gary Elkins in his book, in his mouth.
Fisher hook.
Right, My life. Ever look in his book? It's in the book. He loved it. Loved the tear up. Tottenham was always a big tear up for us as well. There's a game which highlights, and you see the tackles in it. No one goes down and rolling around. There's 50 tackles in that game. Unbelievable. But that's what it was. But the lads were brilliant.
You mentioned
it's almost like hooliganism, isn't it? Great tear up for us, Tottenham.
Yeah, it is. You know what you're going for. You know?
But he was half a gentle giant, wasn't he, Mick? But then he shook his hand, and we're talking.
Mate, he ain't just his hand. Mm-hmm. So he's a great fella. Great fella.
I mean, you mentioned Sam Hammam there, not through like West Ham, not wanting to let you go. So what happened when it did come together? Were you leaving? Was it just the financial troubles at Wimbledon at the time?
Yeah, I was talking to Brian Robson at Middlesbrough, and out of the blue, he rang me on a Sunday night and said, Bolton have offered 500,000 more. You can go and talk to them. And at that time, I was ready to go. I was like, I wanted another challenge. I wanted to be a multi-million pounds transfer. I always wanted one of, resonates to my knee. Am I ever going to get to that part of it, And when you drive to Bolton and you go along that M61 and see the stadium, remember I've been a tenant at Palace and training on Roehampton on a public park. You're thinking, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. And
It sit quite grandly, doesn't it?
it's fantastic. What a place. And I went, I'm signing here today. And that was the time I knew I had to go.
3.5 mil.
Yeah.
Record signing for Bolton at the time.
Yeah. Loved it. I loved that loved it. And then scored the first goal in the stadium in open play against Chelsea, beat them 1-0. I thought, this is great. But under Colin, it was a different way of playing from Wimbledon. Totally different. I found it really hard. We never crossed the ball. And I went to see him about a month, 6 weeks in. And I said to him, Gaffy, do you know something? I am really good in the air. I said, if you've done all your homework on me, which I don't know if you did, or you've just bought me, I'm really good in the air if you put the crosses in, but we don't cross the ball.
Did he see that as constructive, or did he see it as you questioning his management style?
Yeah, he saw it like that. Yeah, I went to him. We had a row after a game once because we lost, and he was really happy, and I was like, why are we happy losing? He might have played well, but I'm not. I can't stand losing. And he went, well, and I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know. And we fell out. And I went to see him on the Monday, and I said, I hope you don't hold a grudge. I'm just passionate. I want to win. No, I don't hold a grudge. I never played for about 10 games. I was sub for ages. And I was like, you hold a grudge. And once he left, I was like, right, where am I going now? What do I do? Because I loved the club. I enjoyed playing. I wanted them to see the best of me. They hadn't seen the best of me in those 2 years, really, because we didn't play the way I played, and I had an injury. And then Sam arrived, which was like the best thing I can ever tell you which happened, because he pulled me in, said, what do you need? And I said, two wingers who can kick the ball into the box. And he said, right, I'm on it for you. We changed the psychologists, we put psychologists in, we signed Alan Johnson and Nicky Summerby, and I scored a hat-trick of headers in a cup match. And I was like, I gave him the ball. I said, have the ball, because you've just listened to me. At least you're listening to understanding me. Otherwise, I needed to go, didn't I,
Did that affect your relationship with Andy Todd? The fact that you didn't really get on with his old man?
That was a tough one. No, I never made it personal with Andy. I got on all right with him. I think the well-known thing, what happened, because Phil Brown was the assistant manager and then had the job for a while. And what happened, I was there that night, unfortunately. That weren't a nice thing to happen. It was pretty horrific.
Bit too far.
Way too far. Way too far, yeah. Way too far. So that was obviously the end of him being at the club. And, no one got personal with Andy over his old man being there.
A quick break, gents, from one of our favourites, the creme de la creme of VPN services.
NordVPN.
The best in the business. If you don't know what a VPN service is, it allows you to bounce your location anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world.
And where have we been lately?
Swindon.
We didn't need it in Swindon, but we did need it in Dubai.
I did need it in Swindon because I went on the hotel Wi-Fi.
Scandinavia.
Yes, because that's another thing about NordVPN. Security, absolutely unbelievable. And when you go in on those...
the
what's
hotel
the word?
Wi-Fi's.
Just go with that.
Everybody can get involved.
Yeah.
Public Wi-Fi's.
That's your boy.
Security. No, none of them hackers get into your bank details, your passwords. No.
I'll tell you what I'm watching at the minute. Obviously, I'm going to, on my honeymoon soon. I've started watching Dominican Republic, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's going to be times where she's getting ready and that. I'm going to be watching the telly.
You've seen all the millionaires over here.
Yeah.
So now you've gone on Dommy.
I'm on Dominican Republic ones at the minute.
Well, that's the thing. You can bounce your location anywhere in the world. So even if you're in the UK and you want to watch Dominican Republic Millionaire, you can get it on over here. Just bounce your location over to
I can watch anything I want, Chris, from around the world because I've got NordVPN.
Sports, series.
Millionaire.
Cut the tosh, lads. What is the script? Do we have an offer?
Of course we've got an offer, because as Under the Cosh listeners, you've just got to follow the link in the description and you get a heavy discount and, get this, a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, get your money back.
That's why they're the GOATs for me.
When you arrived at Bolton, did you try and bring any of that crazy gang mentality?
When you're at Wimbledon, you become nervous about leaving. Anything that there will be empty when the time you come back. There'll be drunk. Your drink would be drunk. Your food will be out.
Yeah.
If you left the room, something cheese. You're on edge. Anxiety sets in. So I went to Bolton, and then I'm walking around with my wash bag and my boots, and they're going, "What are you doing? Why you got your stuff with you?" And I went, "I'm not putting it down." And they went, "Why?" And I went, "Don't people nick it?" And they went, "No, we're a normal football club." And I was like, "Yeah, right. I'm not used to that." And literally, Goodney Bergson used to call us. We got to a point where the camaraderie was really good, and Paul Warhurst, John O'Kane. Goodney would call us the crazy bunch rather than a crazy gang. Goodney loved it. Goodney's quite righteous and is a lawyer, and he loved being part of the crazy bunch. Yeah. There was things you could do and things you couldn't do because it was just they weren't ready for it. And then you can't go and nick Yuri Djorkaeff's boots and tie them up and things like that. So you had to be a bit more limited around things. But we had Ian Marshall. I mean, Marshy's legend. Marshy, he loved it. He loved a beer and we weren't allowed alcohol in the bar at the players' lounge. So Marshy called it. It's a room. So just a room, isn't it? It's not a players' lounge. It's a room. He hated it. It's no couldn't have a beer after the game and things like that. So the professionalism was coming in through Sam, you know.
Can you tell us about, we're going to have to protect this player's identity, so we're going to call him Player A?
Yeah, yeah. Player A, we was in Indianapolis. This was a part of the stuff that went on. We're in Indianapolis playing a game. Kevin Nolan gets injured, has to go back with Sam. I think Sam wanted to go home. And we're a million miles away. Got a game on a Saturday, on a Friday, game on a Monday. Go to watch a, what's it called? NBA game. And I said to Sam, can we have a night out Saturday? We've trained all week. Yeah. And he said, all right, curfew's 12 o'clock. So we went to the game, got to this bar called Have a Nice Day Cafe, and it was empty. 11 o'clock is empty. So we're like, oh, God. Starts getting busier. 11:45, packed, rocking, all having a great time. The conversation was 4 blokes like us standing there. Are you going back? Are you going back? And at Wimbledon, we never really had a curfew. We just made sure we were there the next day. So I was like, I'll stay out. I'm up for it. Player A, he went, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. And then the other B and C went, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. So 2:30, we come out of there. Like, had a great time. Thought, get back to the hotel, get in the back of the hotel, and we'll be up tomorrow for training. Player A goes down the sidewalk, and within 30 seconds, there's a police car drives up, mounts the road, puts a floodlight on him, he's having a wee. And 2 cops get out, guns, pointing at him, and he's having a wee. And he goes, I'll be with you in 1 minute.
There might have been a bit of an accent in that. Player A might have got a bit of an accent.
Lebanese, that.
Anyway, I'll be with you in 1 minute. So I walked to this woman, the police woman, and I said, look, he's from England and we're a football team. Get away from me, step back. And I said, I'm moonwalking. Literally pointed a gun at me and I was like, I am moonwalking. Player C was on one of the cars eating a hot dog. And the other player D was going, arrest him. And so, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is significant. So he walks over towards him, slam him on the car, hands behind his back, stick him in the car, drives off. We're 1 man down at 2:30 in the morning and a significant man in the team. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Got to get back to the anyone know where the hotel is? So get back in the hotel, get back in the room. 8 o'clock in the morning, Sam Allardyce has gone back, Phil Brown's in charge. Anthony Barnes shaking me, Reg, you got to get up. And I'm like, what's up? And he goes, there's a meeting downstairs. And I went, and then I realised, oh no, oh my God, I forgot what happened. And like, so I got downstairs, everyone's at the table. Phil Brown walks in. This person, player A, has been arrested last night at 3 o'clock in the morning with 3 other people, and he's now in the slammer till Monday. So I'm sitting there looking at my coffee like this, and who was there? I'm going to find out. And whoever was there...
Sitting on your hands.
So he went, and whoever it was, it's 2 weeks' wages. Awkward. I was there. I just put my hand up. I said, yeah, I was there. I said, but I think it was about 11:45. I said, I couldn't leave him. It's about 11:45. You sure the timing's right? And he went, who was with you? And I went, I was on my own. And he went, you weren't? I went, I was on my own. He went, I know you wasn't. There's 3 other people. Who else is brave enough in the room to say as brave as him? And player C put his hand up. And he goes, yeah, I was there. And I was like, oh, good lad. He went, I think it's about 10 to 12. I was cracking up. And then he went, all right, who else was the last one? I want to find out who it is. And that person was a good friend of mine, and he kept his head down in his cornflakes. And he went, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and this is Phil all over. He goes, those two have owned up. The one who hasn't, I'm going to get you out of the club. And that player never played again for us. So, and then player A, who's been arrested, comes out of the prison on Monday, plays in the game, gets sent off for kicking the centre forward. And he went, I think it's time I left the country. It was hilarious. You couldn't have gone any wrong, the whole thing. We come back, we beat Leicester 5-0 at the start of the season. Incredible. Unbelievable. Couldn't have gone any wrong any more than that. It was unbelievable. It was so funny.
And are you thinking, we're in, like, obviously the 2 weeks' wages is not great at all, but are you thinking there could be even more repercussions, or would it have been 2 weeks, right, you've fucked up?
But if you hadn't put your hand up, do you mean?
Yeah, you put your hand up, I were out till...
Yeah.
You know what? I rung Sam, and I've still got, and thankfully I've got a great relationship with him. I rung him up and I said, he's having a wee. I said, it's nothing. He's having a wee down the thing. We don't really know. He's not from anywhere, and he's having a wee. It's not the end of the world, is it? Come on, let's get it right. And I said, you know, we were a little bit late, but come on, let's get it right. We're having a good time. We've had 7 days of like disciples, you know.
Yeah.
So we never got fined. It was all right. It was good as gold.
So player C never was a player C or D? I've
Played
lost all my flipping
Player
thingy.
D never played again. Went on loan and then got binned.
So Phil Brown knew all. Was it on the sheet of
He knew
paper?
it was. He was one of my mates.
Right.
So
See, you're setting yourself up for problems, I think, setting curfews.
we always thought the curfews were there to be broken. That's the problem at Wimbledon. You never had one. You could just be there tomorrow and make sure you train and do your best. That was it.
We've spoke a bit about pushback from senior pros when all the new science and everything, and obviously Sam bringing that in.
Yeah.
Was any pushback from you or any of the other?
Not from me, no.
lads?
I loved it. I embraced it. Marshy hated swimming, and we had to go over 30s. Had to go swimming, like treading water in the. And Marshy said, "I'm 33 years of age and I've never swum on a football pitch." You can't help but love Marshy, but he was a wolf in sheep's clothing because tell you what, he was good and he always did his best, but he hated some of the training and the fat, body fat's at 9% and things like that. So it's just a new era for him, but it probably put 2 years on his career, didn't it? You know,
I'm delighted on a Monday morning if you get that call.
Swimming?
Yeah. You get yourself at the pool.
Yeah, I like
over the moon.
I do a lot of swimming. I like it.
There's a couple of players from that squad that I always mention. Anna Gunnar Larsson. All right.
Yeah, you brought him from nowhere.
He's Iceland manager now.
What?
National team manager.
Oh, I thought you meant
Arnold
Norwich.
Arnold Gunnar Larsson was different. He was a little bit different in his dress,
Yeah.
in his ways. I actually really liked him. I got on well with him. I got on well with Arnie. He, good footballer, done well. Probably never achieved what he wanted to achieve, but was good. Good lad. Good fella.
The other one, Stig Tofting.
Stig. What a player. What a bloke. Came in a sequined T-shirt first day, and I think he had his nipples pierced and a chain going from one to the other. Cross. Took his top off. And I went, what the hell was that? And he went, I think he's got hard as Fook, something like that, or no regrets, or something like that on his chest or his belly. And I was like, wow, that is something different. What a machine he was. Yeah, another good character in that group.
I can imagine at Wimbledon he's just getting it.
Oh, it would have been
Both nipples off.
Or someone would have got their coat hanger and hanging on it. You know what I mean? Put the coat on, put the shirt on that. You know, yeah, he was a good fella. Stig. Sort of Stig, whatever his name is. Yeah.
He must have been. You know, when you're seeing all these players coming in, you know, your JJs, your Djorkaevs.
Yeah.
You must have been thinking, who's next?
I think Sam just broke the seal of Bolton being Bolton as a town. You know, some of the mentality when I went there was very small. Sam embraced it, took it, and turned an acorn into an oak tree as a club. Probably pushed too far in the end for Bolton's liking. But yeah, I mean, his ability to talk people to the club and to Bolton, you know, was amazing how he done it. And his reputation was in front of him, way in front of him, for his man management. And that's probably, I'd say, is way ahead of a lot of managers I've played under.
I mean, speaking before, I mean, you're still playing now. Was a lot of the stuff that Sam introduced stuck with you?
Yeah, loads, absolutely loads. Especially about the fitness, the details. I think his real passion was getting the players to really play for him and understanding what it takes to go to Arsenal and win, what it takes to go to Man United. We had Per Franson sitting in front of, I think it was York and Cole, or York and another, one season, and Per Franson never sprinted the whole of the game. He sprinted off because he needed a wee at half time. And that was on his pro zone. Sprint was off. But all he had to do,
my readings might have been a bit like
all
that.
he had to do was screen the front two. And that's all he did. We win 2-0 away at Old Trafford. Who's a genius, the manager.
Who's your favourite strike partner, do you think, throughout top to bottom?
Wow.
Who you enjoy playing with most?
Blimey. I mean, Fash was incredible to play off of. Gary Blissett, when I was at Brentford, we had the best knowledge of each other's game. Fash was unique in terms of he could protect me. I didn't have to go up with Martin Keown in the air and all those people. He'd do that sort of stuff. I had a good Johnson, you know. Playing with Yuri, I had to play with my back to goal under Sam quite a bit.
Yeah.
As a 10, with my back to goal, changed the way we played. So they'd pass up to me, we hold it up, you change your body shape a little bit, you have to get a bit stronger. And so a different way of playing. We never played directly up to me as a target man, you know. So I was luxury. York AF, Good Johnson, Fashanu, Blissett, you know, those guys for me were brilliant, you know.
Did you know how good he was, Good Johnson?
When he came to us, he was overweight and he was injured. And he got himself fit and lost weight. He was a good player. Seriously, good feet, great feet. It really did well and it went on and had a brilliant career.
Did have a knack, didn't he, Allardyce? Just because he broke his leg at Barcelona, and then
he brought him in,
give him that chance.
Yeah,
and
took a while.
What he went on,
but once he got fit, he was seriously a great out front with really great, good guy as well.
Was Sam into his Dubai trips back then? You know, international breaks.
No, we never went there then. No, we went more to Spain.
Oh, so you still went somewhere?
We went somewhere. He loved the trip. I know he likes the Dubai regime now.
Yeah.
I think he's sponsored by Emirates.
I mean, if you don't want to talk about that, Sam, but the taking over the club, taking over Bolton.
I'll go on it a little bit. It was incredible how that happened. Probably one of the proudest moments of my life was saving the club from going under at the court. How it got to it was unique. I was working in some funding, and it was to help Phil Garside at the time fund to buy the club. And Phil, unfortunately, God bless him, he got ill and passed away. But we had the finance in place, and I met Eddie Davis, and he said, "Well, why don't you do it?" I was like, "Wow, what does that look like?" Roll on. Probably 7 months. The club had sold, training ground, finance, lots of stuff to pay Eddie back some of the debt. And for the unknown reason, I went ahead with it. And I thought, but once you're in, you're in.
You think the fact that it was Bolton and
yeah, I had an emotional attachment, and I loved all the people who worked there. And once you're in it, you've got to go, I want to win it, haven't you? And that was my mentality. I kept my sort of nose and head under the water for a while, and a lot of other people talking about doing this and doing that, but we had the money there. I get it, and then we saved them at court, and I still remember punching the air. We've saved the club, the solicitors on the court, and saying we've saved the club from going under.
Literally hours.
Minutes. And I realised then, like, wow, all those people who, you know, work in there, the club I've been a great part of, could have died that day. And it might have been resurrected, and it probably would have done, but it stopped that. And doing that was probably one of the proudest things I've ever done, but most also, wow, why did you do that moment?
Once you said it, you thought, oh, fuck, I'm in too deep here now.
Unfortunately, I got involved with someone who I just lied to me so much, and it became a real struggle for me. We got promoted. Phil Parkinson came in. We got promoted by literally. It was painful working against a partner who was just. Wow, yeah, I'd never experienced anything like it.
I bet it's difficult for you personally because then you're associated with that, aren't you, from that point?
Absolutely, by association. But the real people who know Bolton know exactly what happened and how it happened, and the best day, it's like, I think someone relates it to buying a boat. The best day is the day you buy the boat, and the best day you sell it, because it just takes the stress away. And I literally, the day I got sold my part of the company, my shares in it, was a relief.
It's that bad that you just had to...
Yeah, I wasn't used to the world of narcissistic lying. It was painful a lot of times. I was in the world, but I wasn't in it. It was just relentless what I had to deal with. And as I say, it all happens for a reason, and I'm proud of saving that club. I really am. But it was, I didn't know. I wouldn't have done it if I knew what I was going to go through, because it wasn't pleasant.
To the point where you're like up at night and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At night, waking up to emails, to all sorts of stuff which was going on. It was crazy.
I always used to see it on Sky, the administration, clubs getting deducted points and stuff. But I was always thinking, something will happen. There's no way they're folding. And the eye opener was Bury.
Yes. Yeah.
Fuck me, it can actually happen where a club can just go.
I remember the solicitor ringing me. He goes, I'm in the court. I've got the paperwork. The judge is making the case up against HMRC, and they will take the club down. And I said, well, get in front of that judge, put the paper in front of him saying the money's in the bank, held to order, and it was done. Just like that. And I was like, wow, you know, then you got to go and appease the Football League. It was a hell of an experience. But I wouldn't, if you'd said to me in 97 when I'm driving up the M61, you're going to go and buy that club in later years, you'd think, no chance. Well, how would I know about it? Just funny how the path of your life changes, isn't it? You know, but great, very proud to do it, but relieved to be away from it. And I love the club now. I love it, and I love the fact that Michael James or the people who own the club are doing it the right way. You know, for the fans and the players.
If you're going to have 6 cans on a train, I'd normally say pubs, but you don't like pubs. With 3 teammates.
On a plane, please.
With 3 teammates, who would you pick?
Wow, blimey.
Train's going to Carlisle.
So it's a long one. Only someone who's going to make me laugh.
You got 6 cans of McEwen's.
If I had 3 players, I'd take Ben Thatcher. I'd have Mick Hartford.
Security.
Security.
Just in case the train conductor starts getting a bit chelpy.
Who would be the other one? Richard Shaw. I spent 3 or 4 years kicking lumps out of him, and he kicking lumps out of me. I went to Coventry and got on so well with Shawza, and literally had 3 months of him at Coventry and had such a laugh. Even during games, we were mucking about. And Shawza's top fella. And Ian Bishop as well, if I could have 4.
He'll have to sit
Sneak him on
the
the
He can go on the return.
Toilet when ticket conductor comes.
Bish is what a great fella, Bish is.
He was class, wasn't he, on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bish is a great fella. I've got so many good, not mates, but, you know, acquaintances with players and stuff like that. I never really fell out with many people. Even, I suppose, I got sent off for kicking Robbie Savage once in the neck, and at the Leicester game, and I never fell out of him. It was one of them. He was winding everybody up, and me and Paul Worth both got sent off trying to, do him. And quite an infamous game for when Sam had the heart rate monitors on him. And then I apologised to Robbie a few years later when we were in a charity match in the shower. He said, "Do you remember kicking me in the neck?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that." With no clothes on, I thought he can't punch me or hit me. So, it was. Yeah, there's so many good people in football who I've always got on well with most people, And unfortunately, when you become a manager, you can fall out with players. That becomes a bit of a tough one. You make unpopular decisions.
Did you always want to be a manager? Coming into them later years.
I always thought that my mannerisms and the way I am, and I've taken a lot out of Sam Allardyce and some of the managers when I played, even with Terry Venables for the time I was with England B. What a bloke to play for, and those sort of people motivated me. I thought, well, I'll see where I can get to. Went from Redbridge when my chairman used to have a fag and a pint as a board meeting. And we'd done really well that year. And then I go to Newport. First day at Newport, I sacked 20 players. I knew they had a drink problem. I thought they had a drink problem. Allegedly, they had one. It was a circus, but potentially a really big club. And I saw something there, and I thought I might be able to do something with this fan base and with a team, So, but I sacked 20 players my first day.
It's a statement, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Day one.
I didn't know you could do that.
I just phoned them up and said, you're not wanted.
You can't, but I did.
That was it. There was no contracts. All of them were up. So I kept two players, a goalkeeper, Glyn Thompson, good goalkeeper. And I kept Nathan Davis, the Welsh person. Because Welsh people love Welsh people, don't they? I was popular.
And how big of drinking would it have had to have been?
I saw videos what made me worry about the culture. And
it's a good job none of your managers watched that Stag Do video because you've been long gone.
Yeah, but I knew it was just a circus after games on the coaches. The old school crates of lager and all that. And I saw videos. I went there on loan for a month and saw it in. And despite all the crazy game thing, it wasn't me. You'd never drink and drive, you never do that. But you can't watch players falling off coaches and stuff like that and then go, "Oh, I'd like to sign you." That ain't, because you're the manager, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you go, "Do you want him playing for you?" No. Yeah. So 20 phone calls, done. Saved them the petrol, didn't it?
If he scored that trick, it can fucking fall off bus for me.
Yeah.
Crack on.
But, that was a real start of my managerial career, doing that. And the first year was turmoil. Everybody resigned on the board. There was no one there. It was turmoil. And I don't know how I stayed in there, just stick it out. But I did. And then we built a team which was unbelievable. But great lads as well. Scotty Rogers, who's manager of Western Super, they've all gone on. Sam Foley's just taken over at Barrow. They've all got football in their blood. They love football. And when you got that, we've got something to build on, haven't you? And they listen to you. And we built that team up with 103 points that season. That was amazing. We took them to Vegas.
Achievement, isn't it?
We played Eastleigh in September, and Ian Baird, I don't know if you know Beardy, great fella, beat it pretty mad. And Eastleigh were the benchmark for the division. And I said, "This is your test today. This will give me an indication where we're going to get to." We were out and beaten 5-1. And I called the chairman after the game and I said, "Call the other directors in the room. I need to speak to you." He said, "Why?" I went, "Just get them in the room."
What year is this, sorry?
This was 2009, I say, something like that. And 2009, 2010. And it was 16 years ago on Monday that we got promoted on the Tuesday night against Havant and Waterville. I called a meeting and I said, "Get ready for promotion. I think we can win the league. I want you to get a club shop, make some money." We had a car boot sale for a club shop. So I said, get a proper shop in. We could have a chance here if we do it right. And we won, say, this time of the year, we went up and then we went on. And I said, if you get 100 points, I'll take you to Vegas. So we got 103 points, took them to Vegas.
Did you go as well?
Yeah. Of course I did.
They were a drinking culture there.
I had to keep my eye on them, didn't I?
Security.
Absolutely. And there was a funny story about one of their players. Player A, I'll give you this player A, because I said to him, we're going to Vegas. You are my only concern about going to Vegas, going to America. You are my priority to tell you that you need insurance, because they will not let you do what you do in Vegas and you get away with it. I promise you, Gaffer, I'll get my insurance. Right, fine. Give them some spending money, get promoted, go to Vegas. Sitting by a pool, guy comes over to me, you Gaffer? I went, no. Are you the boss? I went, no. And he went, you are? I went, I'm not. And he went, we got a problem. I went, what is it? He goes, one of your guys is inebriated. He's fell in the pool and he's on his way to hospital. And I went, is his name? And he goes, yeah, that's the guy. So I went, I bloody knew it.
He's all right, he's got insurance.
So I went, where's the hospital? Like, well, we'll go and see him in a bit. We've got a physio there.
In a bit,
yeah. Got to get there, hasn't he? So I go to the hospital. I've got a photo on my phone in. Right, he's got all these tubes coming out of him, laying on the thing, and I banged him on the head. Wake up. And he goes, Gaffer, I'm so sorry. I went, I'm not bothered. I am not bothered. You've only had a drink. You ain't the end of the world. You've not hurt anyone. You've swallowed half the pool. But you've got to clear that out of you. But where's your insurance? Because the ambulance needs paying for, the doctors, blah, blah, blah. And he went, oh, Gaffer, I'm sorry.
Oh,
and
no.
I went, where's your phone? Ring your wife. She's going to have to pay for this. Please don't tell her. I went, well, now we have a serious problem. Where's your credit card? Because you've got to pay. Oh, I haven't got, it's $5,000 it was. Shit. So I went, I am not doing it for you. I would have done, but I said, we're going to keep you in overnight anyway. I'll see you tomorrow and see where it works. So, and I wanted to keep him as a player. He weren't being let go. So, chief exec I was rooming with, he was smashed at the time. He was absolutely smashed. And we told him about this, and he was like, we gave him a Mars bar to pick up. There was a phone, the chief exec, and he took us to the Mars bar. So funny. And he's going, is he all right? And I'm going, and it was, the video is brilliant. And anyway, the next day we went to see him. He went, do you want to keep him? And I said, yeah. And he said, right, well, I'll loan him the money and he can pay me back over the season. So, but it was so funny. My life. I said to him, you're the only player I want to get insurance. And it's happened to you and you haven't done it. That's when, managing people is not always about football, It was funny. That Newport team were amazing. Those people at the club who worked there, they've been there years, they said, Tony Gilbert, the bloke, and Bobby Morris, the guys who worked there, the stalwarts, said, you're the 28th manager in 28 years. And I said, well, I'm not going to be number 29 to get sacked.
No regrets?
A little about, I'd like to have been part of the journey a bit more, but I would like to have had more of terms of being able to be a better coach, a better manager. It was hard. We were always non-stop trying to find somewhere. We trained on a pitch once when the kids were having airborne repeaters firing at us. And we were all ducking while training.
To Newport.
The kids in Newport were firing these fireworks and everything at us. I'm going, this is not professional.
There's cleaning dog shit up, but there's dodging fireworks at a different level, isn't it?
Holding fireworks and pointing them at you to hit you. And you're flying across. That's nuts, isn't it? It's mad. But there's no regrets because I think things happen for reasons. And, that was a time for me to go and take on that challenge.
Certainly not been one for shirking responsibilities and challenges.
Yeah, they've come, haven't they?
Do you prefer being a manager or the stuff that you went on to, the director of football type of thing?
I think if I hadn't have thought about my life after Aldershot for me was amazing. I had it running completely, absolutely out. The dressing rooms, the pitches, the training ground, the players. Our job was to stay 7th from bottom, 5th from bottom. We were never going to go up. We never had a big budget. We took them to the 4th round of the FA Cup, 4th round of the League Cup, played Man United, beat West Ham away, finished 11th, and I had it running exactly how I wanted it to run. And then Chris, the chairman, said to me a couple of weeks before, I've brought in, they're bringing in the new guys, these new board coming on to support us. And then I thought, oh, something's wrong here. And there was an agent involved in the club. And he knocked on my door and he said, hello, buddy. And I went, oh, no, I'm going. And he said, no, you're not. And I went, I know you want in. And I know you're agent for. I said, so I know. I said, but wait till the end of the season. Let me do what I've got to do because I've got it running really well and I think you'll get relegated if I left. No, you're not leaving. 2 weeks later, played Torquay at home, beat them 1 or 2-0 on Tuesday night. And I'm trying to sign 2 centre forwards the next day and made the phone calls. And then the phone rings and this guy says, hello, buddy. We took the club over last night. The chairman's, Chris McCullough's, not longer in charge anymore. We're going to go in another direction. Thanks for your help. And I was like, you're sacking me on the phone. I was there last night and we won. and I was like, really? I said, but by the way, I've got a contract. I turned down 2 League One clubs to stay here. And Chris McCullough loves me and I've kept the budget, everything. I've made you money. I've made you a fortune. And why? Why are you doing it now? And he just said, well, we've got our plans. You're not part of that. The new owner wants us to do this thing. I said, you'll get relegated. No, we won't. I said, I'm telling you now, them players play for me. I said, but now you've said it, we've gone. It's not going to be repaired. And I said, you do your thing and I'll do my thing, but you owe me my contract, which then got messy with LMA and like they looked after me, the LMA. But that was a shame because I'd like to have been carried on to the end of the season if it was going to happen because we were doing well. We had a good team, we had some good players. And then I had this moment to myself where I went, right, I'm never getting sacked again. No one's ever going to sack me. I don't want a contract anywhere. I said, because there's nothing worse than being unable to get out of something you don't want to be in or someone ringing you up on the phone and sacking you. And I don't want to be sacked. So I've never had a contract since.
Did the lad take over that you thought was going to take over? And you said,
yeah.
Did he?
They got relegated.
You should feel quid on that.
I did. And it's unbelievable. It's nuts.
I can't imagine there's any worse way of being sacked though than putting all the work in. You've built the
Oh, my
foundations
God.
of everything.
My
and then
life,
the rug,
I gave it all.
Rug just gets
4 nights a
pulled.
week away from home, down there travelling at 5 a.m, getting there at 8 for being the first person in there and doing the players right and looking after players and dealing with everything. And Chris would come in and go, you're the only guy in this club who gets a budget right and the 3 groups of budgets and things like that. Everyone else is up in the air, they're spending money left, right and centre. And I went, well, they're ripping you off. You know, these guys are taking them, they're putting their loans in and then they're ripping you off. But, you know, that's business. That's the other side of football, business.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a shame, you know.
I can imagine. Like what you're saying, you went for a Bolton and everything, then it's difficult to trust people, I imagine.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. Just a tad. But, you know, I don't regret any of those things I've done. I made the best friends when I went to move to Bolton. My friends in Formby, a fella called Mike McComb, who looked after me up there, Paul Adams, they were amazing for me, those guys. Non-football people, but Everton fans. I'm still friends with them now, go away with them on golf trips and, like, friends for life, you know, and you just meet some genuine people as well, don't you? In your life.
We've not even spoke about like the nightlife in London when back in the day when you were. we've not even touched on it, have we? Do you know, like, because back then it was proper.
Yeah, it was
for Premier League footballs and that.
Yeah, it was good.
On that note.
Former life.
Cheers, we really appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
Thanks
mate.
a lot.
Really
Brilliant.
enjoyed that.
Cheers.
Thank
Thank you very much.